Alright, but we watching going to the movie be like my son, let's check it out.
You know, going to the movies is supposed to be a good experience, and it usually is, but there's a lot of different factors that can change that and make it less enjoyable or more enjoyable. One thing I never understood with movie theaters is how are the lines for food always so long? And why is
It do
everyone
be like
rushing to
that,
throw
no
all their
cap.
money at them for some overpriced food?
Look, the
Unless
money
you're gonna
do
get
be
some popcorn,
overpriced.
you could probably get the exact same thing for a fraction of the price at the store right next door. For me personally, I'm not the type of guy that's trying to take out a bank loan for a box of Skittles, so I'm always trying to smuggle some illegal goods inside without them noticing. What is that in your pocket? Oh, it's just my phone, you know. They make them pretty big nowadays. Except for this one time, I picked up some food at Wingstop. It's a chicken restaurant right before the movie.
Hey, but
Well,
that
since I
should be
was
good
running
though.
late, I didn't have time to sit
Bring
down and
links
eat
to
any
the
of it, so
fucking
my only option
function.
was to try
Yeah,
to
that's
take it
right.
inside the movie. Now, a container of chicken is not just something you can discreetly put under your shirt or in your pocket. You're gonna be looking crazy if you do that. So I'm thinking to myself, I have no choice but to just walk straight through holding out the container of chicken. So my plan was to just walk by really fast and act so confident that nobody's even gonna question it. Well, that plan took like 20 seconds before it failed. I had almost made it all the way through to the theater, and I guess since it was a popular movie, they were checking tickets at the door to prevent movie hopping goons from cheating the system. And this worker wasn't your average movie theater employee. It was one of the managers with the suits and the clipboard and the fancy shoes. She even had the mic system all hooked up to her ears and everything. So the lady is like, "Let me see your ticket." And I had already put my ticket in my pocket, and both my hands were holding my chicken and drink. And the only thing nearby to set my food down to free up my hands was a trash can. I was definitely not going to set my food on that, so my only option was to ask her if she could hold it for me. So I reached out and I'm like, can you hold this? And she was already kind of looking at me this entire time, trying to figure out who I thought I was walking in with a full dinner. So she just kind of looked at me for a second and then slowly reached out to hold my food. So I hurry up, get my ticket out and show her, and I'm thinking like, any moment now and she's gonna bust out with the whole no outside food or beverages speech. So I put my ticket away, snatched my food back, and beeline it inside the theater before the situation could develop any further. I don't know, I guess they were paying her just barely not enough for her to not care and just let it slide.
For real, cause like, shit, that fool, she must have been a laid back ass one too. Worker, fucking manager.
You know what to expect because depending on the type of movie you're seeing, it's gonna attract a little bit different type of crowd. One group you've got, and I can't lie, I've definitely been a part of this group before, is your group of teenagers in the back. They're making offhand comments at any part they can make fun of. If any attractive character pops on the screen, the whole theater's gonna know that they think so. Another group you've got is your preschool age children that are always causing some different type of commotion. It seems like any movie I go to that's in one of those big packed theaters, it's inevitable that some child like 5 seats down from me is gonna spill his popcorn bag. It's always accompanied by like this little gasp from the mother, then they probably ask their mom for a new bag. And the thing that always gets me is however bad you think the spill was, the lights come on at the end of the movie and it's actually 10 times worse. Looks like a complete war zone. One time I was sitting in a movie and some kid in the front row, probably fresh out of being a toddler, thought it would be so funny to throw whatever candy he was eating up into the air and behind him. So this milk dud hits the dude next to me, and then another one, and another one. Now props to the kid for being consistent with his aim and hitting the same guy 3 times in a row. But the guy started to get really annoyed, and he would just kind of toss the milk duds back at the kid. So they start going back and forth. I'm watching this like it's a tennis match. And in fact, the major movie chain in my area actually had like a child care center where kids could be watched while their parents saw the movie, so exact situations like this wouldn't have to happen. But they actually recently took all of them out and replaced the child supervision center with an alcohol serving bar.
This fool.
Wait a minute.
Nice move, guys. Now we also had to suffer through things like this. The other thing about those big theaters is there's always someone doing something on their phone, often at full
sometimes be like
that. I had with this was one time I saw a grown man whip out his phone and started playing one of those car racing games.
Goofy asshole.
The movie with his brightness turned all the way up and sitting right in
Damn, you had that.
Come on, man.
I mean, come on. At that point, just stay home if you want to play a phone game that bad. Although I have to admit, that's annoying, but it's still not as bad as when you see a movie in the middle of the day, the movie ends, and when you walk outside, You just forget that daylight exists.
Hello.
I don't know if
Sometimes
you've
it'll be like that.
I mean, I haven't either, but I might as well have been for walking out of some of these theaters into broad daylight. Sometimes you walk in, you're trying to find a seat, and there will be some lady all by herself trying to save like half the seats in the theater for her group that hasn't even showed up yet. She's got her kid lying across like 3 seats. Like, you all know you can reserve a theater, right?
For real.
Just forcing everyone else to have to take a seat in the front section now, which I never really understood people defending the front seats in those theaters. I mean, I don't know, people might feel differently about it, but in my opinion, these seats are just not good.
Hello, the front ones, the first ones, hell no.
This is your only option. The very back
That should be like hurting my neck. That should be like, boy, nah, I'm hurting my neck. It'll be like, that should be like retarded.
My friend tried to pull the classic, oh, trust me, they're not even that bad. So I'm like, okay,
Hear
try
that.
it for one time and just see what it's like. Bro, I spent the entire movie like this.
Hello.
In that theater, 100%, he was probably sitting there and was like, I'm gonna put an extra row right here and just prank everybody.
Goofy
The
ass.
theaters around me have started to make their theaters pre-reserved seating, so you would buy your ticket online beforehand and pick out your seats on a map. But that's if you're prepared and responsible, which, if I'm being honest, we would usually just end up buying them once we got there and pick from whatever seats were left over, which a majority of the time was just a mediocre selection at best, so you would think we would learn our lesson. But the thing is, there's always people that reserve their tickets online and then just don't show up. So there were always unclaimed seats you could move into if you got stuck with bad ones. But there was this one night that exact thing happened. It was 3 of us and we got stuck in the front. So we decided we're just gonna go straight for some open seats, and if someone says it's theirs, we'll just keep moving around until the movie starts because there's always extra open seats. We definitely underestimated how stressful this was gonna be. When we sat down, the entire back row was open. A few people came up as expected, so we shifted out of their seats and into new ones. No problem, right? It gets down to where the only seats left in the entire theater are the 3 we're in and the front row. The theater was packed, but finally the movie starts and we could finally relax. Except we couldn't because we didn't account for all the extra people coming in late. You know, an occasional group would trickle in. All 3 of us would just be tracking them, hoping they don't start walking up the stairs, because it would be such a hassle for that to happen in the middle of the movie. The seats that are supposed to be ours are probably taken by someone else by now. We would have to get up and walk in front of people. It would just not be good.
Hello.
And then like 20 minutes into the movie, just when we thought we were safe, a line of like 9 people marched in.
Oh
I'm
my
thinking
God.
it's over, we're done for. Between the 3 seats we're legally in and the couple up front, this theater is fully packed. I'm thinking like we have to be in one of their seats. And then at the last minute the line split off. One group went down one front row and the other went down another. I honestly could not believe our luck, and it's a good thing that was the last group of late people and we made it through the whole movie. It was a stressful first 20 minutes of that movie though. So Marvel comes out with some of the best and just overall quality movies of today. And one thing everyone knows them for is their end credit scenes, right? But they done messed it up a little bit because now sometimes I'll be in a non-Marvel movie and when it ends, I'm ready to go. But whoever I'm with will be like, wait, we have to stay and see if there's an end credit scene. And so you sit there and sit there and sit there. They'll be like, are you ready? It's about to come. They're going to drop some crucial information right here. And then since it's not Marvel, it just ends. Oh, I guess they just decided to not do it this time. You know, I guess ultimately the only way you can ensure a 100% shenanigan-free movie experience is if you have the entire theater all to yourself. And this is a rare occurrence. It usually doesn't happen too often, especially because it always seems like every time you think you're gonna have the theater to yourself, you walk in, it looks all clear, and then you're like, wait a minute. And all the way in the back, you can kind of make out someone, and there will be a single person right in the middle of the road to ruin the empty theater. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed watching.
Alright. Peace out. That's the end of the video. Peace out, homies.